First leg in to throw first.
Soon to be rested and refreshed and ready to take on Ian White, who is, as you mentioned, Dan, tasked with the job of stopping the Dutch charge in the German Darts Championship.
Yep, well, if Ian White fails to win this, we will have a Dutchman in the final. I can guarantee you that. I don't know which Dutchman it's going to be, but the bookies reckon it'll be this man right here. However, the Diamond will look for inspiration for his performance in a final on the Pro Tour last year when he beat Michael van Gerwen, and not only beat him, he beat him 6-0. Now, the only person to do that, beat Michael van Gerwen to 0 in legs over the previous 3 years, was Gary Anderson. Gary had actually done it twice in relatively quick succession.
96.
But Gary Anderson, MVG freely admits, is the man closest to him in terms of his ability to produce ridiculous standard and high averages on a regular basis.
59.
Ian White once took 13 legs off Michael van Gerwen in one match, the quarter-final of the World Match Play. Unfortunately, it was a race to 16, that quarter-final, back in 2015. And he was the closest anyone came to stopping Michael going on to make the final that year.
Yeah, and he was with a healthy lead in that game as well. I think he was 7-3 up at the second break, and he might have extended that after the break to 8-3.
1-3-2, another one of those. Oh, just outside, would have been
92.
Fantastic start for Michael van Gerwen.
One of two major quarterfinals, that quarterfinal at the match play, where Ian White has made it there and then been beaten by Michael van Gerwen. The other one at the UK Open the year before, as MVG takes out double top for a 13-dart break of throw.
Second leg, Michael to throw first.
Well, this is his 25th European Tour quarter-final, Michael van Gerwen, and he's only been beaten in 3 of the previous 24. So Ian White can go for all the inspiration he wants, but he's definitely got his work cut out.
3 times Ian White has beaten Michael van Gerwen in his professional career. Nobody has beaten Ian White more than MVG in his professional career. 11 victories. Peter Wright has also beaten him 11 times. Even Phil Taylor hasn't beaten his fellow Stokey that many times.
White's 2 previous wins,
190,
which I'm sure included plenty of arrows like that, came before Michael van Gerwen ever won a major title in 2012.
140.
He was on the brink of his first at that point.
Yes, well, in actual, that was just when he was blossoming, isn't it? Because Ian White actually beat him twice in that year, and the next 2 games they played,
95.
beaten twice by MVG
96.
in finals.
That'll
do nicely.
Leg,
just misses inside on the double 18, makes the switch across to double 9, and that is a 12-darter to go with a 13-darter, and Michael van Gerwen has exploded out of the blocks. We suggested earlier, when he played Cristo Reyes and averaged 97, 98,
100.
But the scoreline of 6-3 kind of flattered van Gerwen. Cristo had chances to, well, be in the lead, let alone make it closer. We suggested that might be the opportunity for somebody to beat Michael van Gerwen, and they hadn't taken it, and he might not give anybody else another opportunity. He started in that manner here today.
140.
Yeah, certainly the man to beat. MVG, the MVP of the darting draft.
140.
Does tend to play in most tournaments, Michael van Gerwen. It's interesting you mentioned that he is winner of and holder of most major titles. As Ian
140.
Responds with a 140 and gets himself down to a reasonable finish. The other man to hold a major title is Peter Wright, and he also plays in most events. Nobody has played more ranking events in the last 2 years, and Ian White is the only player on the tour to have played in every single one in the current 2-year window.
And that's probably, and you know, it's probably not surprising that the highest number of professional losses he has are against 2 other guys who play in most, if not all, events. Peter Wright and Michael van Gerwen, number 3 and the number 1 in the world, who play everything. Gary Anderson's number 2. He ducks out of a lot. Obviously, Phil Taylor doesn't turn up to a lot of Pro Tour events. Hasn't done for a number of years. But the Diamond looking for a 13-dart hold of throw here. Just to cut the gap to 1. There it is. Very good.
Michael to throw first.
We have a game on.
$134.
We're only 3 legs in, but Michael Van Gerwen's average is in excess of 110 again now. Whitey won't be far behind.
140.
Well, look, you don't have to average 110 yourself to beat somebody averaging in the 110s. We've seen it on a number of occasions. But you are going to have to average roundabout, if not just over 100. You're going to have to take most of, if not all of your chances.
But here's quite a look at the performances from the previous round. White average 104, Van Gerwen around 97-ish. Many a time you've seen that disparity in the averages and the guy with the 97 average winning the match. So if they both played like they did in the last round, it still wouldn't mean that White would definitely win.
No, not for certain. And as you see, there's 11 points in the averages. It's only ever an indication, the average, because, you know, have a couple of poor legs where you're not
100.
challenging on your opponent's throw and it drags down your average, but if they win the leg anyway and you're sat in a double, then it doesn't really matter. You know, it looks good for your average.
100.
It's about when you get a chance, you've got to take it.
Yeah, and also, you know, they keep going out. Your average might be slightly inflated.
Artificially high, almost, yeah.
Although that didn't help Jan Dekker earlier on today because he never even got a double against Benito van der Pass.
Ooh, one to forget.
No,
Mr. Coat.
Yeah, well, or no double decker. Now then, tried for the treble 18 for double there. Oh, but Ian White is going to get a stab at 137.
Said you got to take your chances. This is a slender chance, but it is a chance. And it's not going to go. Treble 19 now.
59. Michael, you require 12.
Well, it can be awkward if you start missing inside on these doubles, but so that is right in the middle of the green bit, and Michael Van Gerwen extends that lead to a couple of legs.
Got to be looking at least 15 darts, haven't you, against the thrower? That's the shabbiest leg of the match so far. Not too shabby.
94.
Your menu for this evening. Dan mentioned earlier that the winner of this will take on Klaaseno van der Pass, which follows this one. And then it's Peter Wright against Kim Huybrechts. And Gerwin Price against Menzo Suljovic. So all players that have experienced this stage of European Tour events.
Gerwin Price, the only man not to make a Euro Tour semi-final out of our quarter-final lineup. But every single one of them has won a PDC title.
58. $100.
The problem is when you're playing Van Gerwen, it doesn't matter what kind of a lead you have in a leg.
81.
You can never feel safe because you know that at any point he could just kick in, go back-to-back 180s. I know they can all go back-to-back 180s, but it just feels more likely that Van Gerwen is going to do it. And when he's under pressure, when he needs to find a big shot, he is more likely to find it than anybody else in the world of darts. And it's got to make you uneasy. You can never feel comfortable.
You've only got to see his own reaction when he scores a paltry 100.
60.
It's a bad shot for Michael Van Gerwen. Now 129. Well, he's got 6 darts to clean it up if he so wishes.
Single 18 or 10.
89.
Yeah, he's gone 10 to leave double top.
Ian White's too smart to shoot for the bull at the end of a 129 when his opponent's not on a finish.
100.
But now you have to take it out.
40.
Because again, 1-2-2 for Michael Van Gerwen. He makes that look child's play. It's a good guide, you would think. Yeah.
Shots in the fifth leg. Ian White.
Ian White sticking in there.
60.
Now he has to strike. Just the 60 from MVG.
It's an added pressure, isn't it, when, in a way, when Michael Van Gerwen only goes off 60, because you kind of, like you said, now he has to strike. I'm sure that's exactly what goes through Ian White's mind. I've got to hit him now, and he's
96.
only found one treble, so not really any damage done.
And of course, they will be thinking that whomever they play. But the thing is, you don't expect Michael Van Gerwen he's going to go off 60. He may not go off 60 or less than that at any other point in this match. It's just... We always talked about the fear factor with Phil Taylor. People were scared of playing him. And it wasn't that they're scared of playing him. It's just that when they were up there, going up against him, they're expecting him to hit something massive. And it just heaps even more pressure on themselves to play their best game. And under that kind of pressure,
96.
a lot of players found it very difficult to live up to it. And that is what Michael Van Gerwen benefits from now.
What we do know about Ian White is a man that doesn't fear Michael Van Gerwen. You mentioned the 6-0 whitewash earlier on, and he's put in some fantastic performances. He's actually, of all those defeats to Michael Van Gerwen you mentioned, the man that's beat Ian White most,
57.
never has Ian White failed to win at least a leg. So he's done something to MVG that MVG hasn't done to him.
And it's not going to happen today. And that's, you know, good MVG. That's not old MVG. Back in the day when he was getting hidings from everybody and leaving venues in tears.
The first meeting was in 2011 at the very first European Tour event. In fact, that's wrong.
119.
2012 wasn't the first European Tour event, but it was in Austria.
Yeah. Now then, the diamond. Nope, not going to happen. And it may have to be something massive like this for Ian White to get the
100
break of flow that he needs, having been broken in that opening leg of the match.
Well, it may only be a dart of the ball. It will only be a dart of the ball. Matters not. Michael Van Gerwen smashes it in and restores a two-leg advantage.
Shrug of the shoulders for MVG. It's just nothing, is it? Absolutely nothing to him. Just expects it to go in.
140.
You hear some players talk, when you interview players after a match and you ask them about a particular shot, perhaps a big finish or something like that, and they'll talk to you, they say, I knew before I threw it was going in. It just looked twice the size. I could just see it. And, you know, inevitably it has gone in. That's why they're talking in that kind of way. And it may be them being wise after the event. But you get the feeling with Michael Van Gerwen, there are games where he just sees everything like that. It just, you know, it's an absolute shock to him that he does not hit the exact bit of the target that he is going for.
Well, he'll be in shock today because 97 in the first match. We said we use averages as a guide. This is a guide. 97-ish now.
140.
Dan Dawson, I put it to you that Michael Van Gerwen may be there for the taking on this form.
Well, he may be.
Maybe not.
But he's just fired in a 171
71
to leave 132.
However, White's on 140. And he's going to get a shot. Probably stay there. It was inviting. But the invitation was not RSVP'd by Ian White's second dart. MVG hit this shot with this route to win his first Premier League title. It's not going to happen now. White will return to just cling on to the coattails of Michael Van Gerwen.
Yeah, well, he's sticking in there at the moment, but these are the shots he can't afford to miss. They have to keep going, and that's another good guide. He used it last time. He's not used it there. Last dart in hand has to go, and does go. 4-3. Ian White not letting the world number one get too far away.
Well,
140.
Kicked off better that time. He said he might not start 60 again. White still does need to break. That doesn't really aid his cause.
140.
Back-to-back 140s from the nicest man in the world, according to a Japanese YouTuber.
There is more to that, isn't there?
Yeah,
You've not just randomly quoted a Japanese man from YouTube.
No, a kind of Michael Van Gerwen superfan who worked for an airline, had a stopover in Holland, so he took it upon himself to visit the pub where Michael van Gerwen practices in his hometown of Vlijmen. Little did he know that Michael van Gerwen quite fancied a night out that evening and turned up. And then when he saw that the Japanese YouTube darts fan had appeared in the pub, he went home and got him a signed shirt and spent a bit of time chatting with him. He's not been very nice to Ian White so far in this one.
No, not particularly. And that's the 12-darter to put him on the brink of the semi-finals. Ian White must win the last 3 legs. He's got the throw in 2 of them. But in between, he's going to have to do something he's not been able to do so far in this match, and that is break Mighty Mike.
85.
And the Dutchman's average has just gone above the 100 mark again. And now he is really making a move.
140.
No 180s for Michael van Gerwen in this match.
Plenty of 2 treble visits, though, aren't there?
But it's the kind of thing that will niggle away at him and he'll want to put right before he gets off stage.
60.
And he may only have 2 more visits to try and do that. He'll probably still have 2 more after this.
84.
Now you see 3 legs in the middle of the game, lasting 6 visits to the board. Everything else in 4 or 5. With standard of darts, this.
92.
But just as we said at the start of the day, Ian White is quite capable of averaging 99 right the way through the day, and that can be enough to win you these titles.
100.
Has been in the past.
The level ton gets him down to a finish, but they'll be hoping to plonk at least a couple in the treble here. Otherwise, it becomes a favourite leg for Michael van Gerwen to win.
60.
And he didn't get any in the treble, and MVG now has 2 visits to break again.
137.
And what a setup that is.
Yeah, that will be 3 match darts for MVG to close this out. 6-3 against the Diamond Ian White and set up an all-Dutch semi-final, either against Benito van der Pas or against Jelle Klaassen. And either way, it looks a tantalising prospect. Michael van Gerwen takes it out, ends with a 14-dart leg. The Diamond Ian White unable to record a 4th career victory over MVG. It's a 12th win against the world number 14 for Michael van Gerwen.